Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for January 13th, 2024. For Joe Spacebaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hello.
It's the first TGS of the year. And we don't have a super whole lot to talk about.
I mean, to be fair, do we really ever?
It's especially this early on now. But we do have at least a couple interesting things to talk about. But before we get to those, Sonic, we've been playing the last since the last time we did TGS, which was more than 2 weeks ago.
Except for really, you could still just say last 2 weeks, because, you know, we did kind of do 2 weeks of stream.
Yeah.
I mean, not really all that much. It's pretty much been like Fortnite and Star Citizen. More Star Citizen than anything, but Reclaimer's busted. The risky salvage Reclaimer mission is really busted. The last one I did, which I think I mentioned to you, it might have been on stream.
Yeah, it was yesterday on stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 3.3 million credits, or maybe, and this is probably very stretching it, maybe an hour's worth of time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more realistically about 30 minutes. Yeah, that's busted. When you can go do that for an hour and then go and buy like 60 to 70%, one of like 60 to 70% of the in-game viable ships, yeah, there's a problem there. I do kind of have a goal now where I'm wanting to try to see if I can buy all of the ships that you can buy in-game. Before a wipe, obviously. The problem is, I don't want to just sit there and do salvage stuff, because I am actually starting to feel more confident with my ship-to-ship combat. So I've been going and doing the VHRTs, which are the not the player bounties, the AI bounties. Unfortunately, they're too easy, and then I decided to hop over into like Endless Vandal Swarm and see how far I can get with it. Fun fact, completely unintended, I have gotten up to 69 kills before getting wiped out in the Arrow. So far, that's been my highest there. I would love to try to get like you in there too. Unfortunately, ships you buy with in-game currency you can't use over there, meaning you would only have the Pisces, which isn't a bad ship, but it is not a fighter. That'd be one of those, if I did get you in there, you might have to rent a ship.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much been it.
I've got my first game completed for the year.
That was quick.
Well, it's Void Bastards, which I've done on stream a bunch. That is the you play as one of many prisoners that are trying to get your prison ship out of the shithole it's in. So you're hopscotching the like the not necessarily galaxy, like the part of space you're in, to like different like ships and stuff, trying to like collect the parts and all that. It's a roguelike essentially. I was playing it to like get it completed because I'm like, I have to be close to the end of this game. And as I found out, I have been playing the game entirely wrong considering where I was at. Because I was playing the game careful, like, you know, going around, trying like kill enemies and stuff.
And you
like,
needed to play it reckless.
I needed to play it like Doom. And also I needed to not, I needed to not go to every single thing, like every single stop. I can skip those. So I'm like, oh, just skip to like when I can either get stuff or like get important stuff or just the thing I need. Otherwise, there's no point. Like I'm just wasting health and wasting ammo. Just go. Play this like I'm speedrunning the game now. So I did that and I completed it in like 2 hours or so from where I left off. So that's 1 down, 12 to go.
So you're on pace to do it.
Yay. I also finally got Sakura Wars back up and running, and it didn't crash after the first mission. So I can actually go through all of Sakura Wars now, which is like an old tactics game for the Dreamcast? Is it No, Sega CD. Right, it's a Sega CD. But RetroArch cooperated with it this time. So I can play through it all now, presumably. I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts. But I can play it, and I'm enjoying that. But yeah, it's a fairly standard like tactics game, but you have some like dating sim kind of things because your team is entirely made up of girls. Because it is what do they call it? It is the Flower Troop. And initially it's Troop TORUPE, as in a performing troupe at a theater. But you're like a military lieutenant and you've been transferred to this unit. But then later they're like, no, we are the Flower Troop TROOPE. We do take care of military stuff. Essentially, they fight demons in like a Industrial Revolution era Japan using steam-powered mechs. Is like the short and long of it. It's very cool. And the reason I wanted to play is because 1, it popped up in Super Robot Wars 30 for their DLC. And 2, the people that made these games, because there's like several of them, went on to make Valkyria Chronicles, which I adore. So, of course, I want to play the thing they made first. But the tactics gameplay is fairly standard tactics, grid-based, move, hit things, do your supers and your special attacks and all that. Nothing fancy. It's more like the character work and the writing that I think like will hold my attention for the entire time. Because this is a franchise that, even though it didn't have a game for like a decade plus, it still had like a live show and stuff that was going on for several years with nothing else supporting it, even though it started from the games. And like Sega has basically ignored Sakura Wars for like an eternity. Yeah, besides that, I have an interview Thursday. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. It was weird because like I got the message that like they wanted to do the interview like Tuesday. And I was like, oh, hey, cool. Like I set it up, set the time, and I'm like, hey, I have an interview Thursday. And then I rechecked the information and it's like, you have an interview next Thursday. It's like, oh. All right, then I don't know why they need more than a week for me, but all right, sure. I'm usually not waiting that long when I'm been told someone wants to interview me, but fine. But we'll see how that goes next week. Not much else besides that. Oh, I'm playing the Monopoly mobile game because my mom plays it and She wanted help, so I'm like, I will play this. I think I understand now what people are talking about when they talk about microtransactions in mobile games. This is the worst I've ever seen, with a game being like, hey, spend money on our game. Hey, spend money on our game. Hey, spend money on our game. Because you know what happens when you first boot up the game?
You're asked if you want to spend money on the game.
Not once, not twice, but possibly 3 times. 3 separate times. And there's a thing where it's like, hey, we're going to give you the first 2 free, but then you have to spend money to get the rest of it. But there's other stuff that is free beyond the thing that you spend money on. And every time you run out of dice, hey, do you want to spend money? Hey, do you want to keep rolling? Spend some money. This, I understand now why people don't like microtransactions. Like hard microtransactions, because this is atrocious. We get off scot-free with regular video games because this is bad. Like real bad. Granted, I've made it pretty far without spending a dime. Because all it is you roll dice to move around a Monopoly board, you get money, you use that money to build up landmarks for the board you're on. And once you're done building up those landmarks, you move on to another board, and then you roll dice to get money to do that all over again. And while that's going on, there might be a tournament so that if you land on certain spaces, you get essentially points that put you in a ranking in a tournament or in a thing up top to get more stuff. It's fairly basic stuff. I just had to laugh when my mom told me, it's like, well, once you get up higher enough, it takes a lot of money to upgrade the landmarks. And I'm like, yeah, that's normal. That's progression. Of course it would be more money the further you get in the game to upgrade stuff. I would be concerned if it wasn't. But otherwise, it is a mobile game. It's not a gacha for people who like hate on gachas. But I guess anything else before we hit the news?
No.
All right, then. First up, Arcane Season 2 got a quick little trailer. There's not a whole lot to it, unfortunately. I think we're just seeing, what is this? Like Silas? Is it Silas? I'm actually not sure who we see working on an experiment that is something. Like, the most important thing for me is, like, we're getting this in November. Cool. No specific date beyond that, but hey, Arcane Season 2 in November. Hooray. Do you have any thoughts?
No.
Fair. Like I said, there's not a whole lot here. Next up, probably the most interesting thing that came out, like literally within the last week or so, in a positive way at least. What thought to be unobtainable Tetris kill screen has finally been obtained by this 13-year-old kid, who is a professional Tetris player. I guess. But this is Gibson. He was able to reach the true Tetris kill screen. So this requires a lot of explaining. So before this, it was thought that the kill screen of Tetris was at the point where the game literally becomes unbeatable, as the blocks are falling too fast for you to be able to properly, like, move them. So you just die. That was thought to be the kill screen. But then a method to like compensate for this movement came about by kind of like juggling the controller in your hand a little bit, like flipping it back and forth between two fingers while you're also pressing the directions would allow you to like get more inputs in so you could actually move faster. So people were able to do that. And from there, they started inching their way past this point. The only problem then was as they were inching past this point, the game started kind of corrupting itself and then started like pulling pallets of blocks from wherever. So there was like a dark screen that you could barely see the blocks on that was killing people until I think Gibson made it past that one first. Someone else might have. But after that, essentially people started crunching the numbers and found out that at a certain point in the game's memory, or at a certain point in these levels, if you do it right, you can literally make the kill screen happen within like a certain set of levels and like a certain way you do within those. It's a whole lot of math spreadsheet stuff involved in that I do not remember offhand. But that was the goal, is to get to this kill screen. One of the top players was streaming, doing it, and was on track to do it. Gibson decided to stream as well. And essentially it was a race between the two of them. Gibson eventually got it at level 157, and thus is the first person to have acquired the kill screen for Tetris. In theory, the final kill screen, since like this is an actual kill screen that actually does crash the game, is actually like 255. That should be the highest possible level in the game, and in theory clearing that should also cause a kill screen, but people are now working towards that. I also point out that some dipshit reporter was like, oh, this kid should go do real things and stuff, and it's like, this kid did a really cool thing. It takes a lot of skill to like do this. Why are you mad?
Because they can't do it.
I'm sure, yeah, I get, apparently. But this is really cool, and like, honestly, I didn't know anything about this until I watched the video that I kind of laid everything out, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and there's a lot to this. But any thoughts on the Tetris kill screen?
No.
Oh. Also, there's Tetris competitions. Like there's a Tetris like competitive competition amongst people, where like people just play Tetris against each other. Not like battle Tetris, just single player Tetris against each other, and it's like whoever gets the furthest wins without dying. And it's apparently like really super competitive now because of all these new tricks and stuff they've learned. Next up. So you remember how Rocksteady made a really good like trilogy of Batman games?
Yeah.
So you know how they're making that Suicide Squad game?
Yeah.
And how that Suicide Squad game has looked really bad every time they've shown it off?
Yeah.
So recently they decided to invite various reviewers and outlets and content creators and the like to preview the game at an event. Do you want to know what they unanimously came back with?
Probably that it wasn't good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hey, people who were in the alpha test of this game, you can talk about the video game now. It's not going well. Bear in mind, this game comes out in like 4 weeks. No, 3 weeks. You ever just see a company start to realize that their game is bad and there is no saving it, and they just have to take the L on the chin? Because this is what it feels like. But how do you feel about the Suicide Squad?
Meh.
Fair. I just saw a picture of like the UI and stuff for this, and I'm like, wow, that is incredibly boring and basic as fuck. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Here you go. Perfect. Oh, oops. I was in the wrong chat. That's in the right chat. Look at how boring and basic this UI is.
What do you mean boring and basic? It totally doesn't look like they've tried to merge Call of Duty and Overwatch UIs and it create this.
Yeah. I do appreciate the cute little shark icon in the top left corner for King Shark. That's adorable. That's about the only positive thing I have to say here, because otherwise I'm like, well, this is certainly a lot of things and stuff, and that map looks not helpful. And that looks like your usual D-pad stuff. And oh, look, that must be your supers that you hit the bumpers for. And there's your guns and stuff. And it's all this. It's this game is dead on arrival. And I feel bad for Rocksteady. Because it seems like they went through a lot of development hell with this, and none of it has turned out well, and they have just shoved this out the door to die. And what's worse is it's a live service game, so it'll probably be dead within a year. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then. DICE Awards! We have nominations for DICE's awards for video game stuff. Apparently Spider-Man 2 is leading the charge. So we've got animation, which is FF16, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Super Mario Wonder, Art Direction, Alan Wake 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Spider-Man 2, Jedi Survivor, and Starfield. Character, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3 twice, Spider-Man 2, and Thirsty Suitors. That is not a name I expect to see. I also don't know what that game is. Let's see. Story, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Dave the Diver, Thirsty Suitors, Venba? Where is Game of the Year? Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom. Anything standing out to you? I just kind of skipped straight to Game of the Year and skipped over a whole bunch of stuff.
No. No, because I mean, it almost feels like part of this. Don't get me wrong, Spider-Man 2 is good, and I feel like actually for a change has a good footing in the ones it's in. But I also feel like this is almost pandering to the point of they're going to give it something.
Probably.
Just because of how many it's in, kind of deal. It feels like this one is simply just to give other good games something.
Honestly, the quick scan through, this feels a lot better than Game Awards nominations.
I don't know. I still feel like we should have had more of a mix between the two.
True.
This feels like Game Awards abandoned Spider-Man 2, so we're gonna definitely make sure it gets something here.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a case like with the Game Awards, it was focused too hard on everything else, and it was trying to ignore Spider-Man 2, which was weird. It's there's not a good answer for either one of them, because I feel like this one's too heavy for certain games.
Mm-hmm. I'd be curious what GDC does, because they do awards, right? Yeah, they do their awards in March. I'd be curious on what they do. But anything else?
No.
All right, then. A fun little story about a game that people got real excited about for no good reason. And oh god, we all got duped. So the day before,
Free Resources, the game.
Yes. So the day before was a game that made a whole bunch of big promises about being this big survival, I think, MMO game and the like, and it was showing off all these fancy trailers, some of which were just copies of other video games trailers shot for shot, one of which was a Call of Duty one. So that's a good sign. Also, they had a whole bunch of people work on this game for free and did not pay them because they were volunteers and not employees. And a lot of the people in like the Discords and stuff for this had not actually seen the video game be played. So that's telling. But eventually this thing came out on December 7th to overwhelming negative reviews and Steam refunds, to the point that I think within like the week of, Steam had already delisted it and took it off the storefront. And now 2 months later, it's fully shutting down. Or just like a month later, it's shutting down. So yeah, this did not go well. It is hilarious though. I think SkillUp has a whole video detailing the story and stuff, and it's just mind-boggling. I'm just like, how did this come to be? Because I'm not even sure anymore. But anything else?
No.
All right. Last up, since AGDQ is tomorrow, apparently they've decided, hey, we're going to team up with Humble Bundle and offer the AGDQ 2024 bundle, which is 8 games that are being run at the event. Technically, it's more like 7 plus a DLC. But you can pick up all these games for $10. It is Bayonetta, Borderlands 2, Celeste, Sprawl, Bloodstained, Astalon, and then Sonic Adventure 2 plus the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle DLC. So this is neat and cool, and unfortunately I own at least 2 of these. I own Bloodstained on Steam, and I own Celeste from the Epic Game Store when it got given out for free.
Yeah, but that's not on Steam.
True.
I have Sonic Adventure 2 with the Battle DLC, so that's about the only one on mine.
But yeah, this is all of the donations are going to Prevent Cancer Foundation, and you have 12 days to pick this up if you desire it. So it'll be active after the event's over. But yeah, that's neat and cool. I think that's the first time they've ever done this.
At least with Humble Bundle. They usually will do stuff similar to like this with the other sponsors, but yeah, I think this is the first for a Humble Bundle.
Mm-hmm. And I just take one look at this and go, this makes sense. How did they never do this before? This just makes sense. Also, according to their stats, they have already sold 19,224 bundles.
Sounds about right.
And for those curious, you can pay more than $10. $10 is just the minimum. But anything else?
No.
All right, that's all we got news-wise, folks. That's it. It's January. Supposedly there is a direct next month, and Microsoft has a showcase next week that they're showing off their Indiana Jones game, amongst a couple other things. So, like, we'll have more eventually, supposedly. Also, I think there's supposedly a state of play before the end of the month. So we'll have more to talk about soon. Anyway, releases. Where to start? Let's start with on the 17th, Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age are coming to the GBA emulators on Switch. On the 18th, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. That's that 2D Metroidvania Prince of Persia that actually looks pretty good. And I hope is actually good. I'm gonna be sad if it's not. We'll go to the 19th with The Last of Us Part 2 remastered for PlayStation 5.
Yay.
Such an unnecessary thing. Let's see, on the we will skip to the 25th. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy for Xbox on PlayStation 4 and Switch. That is the Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice trilogy to kind of like round out pretty much the rest of the Ace Attorney games that you can get besides the Professor Layton Ace Attorney crossover. So, yay! I'll get to pick that one up eventually. We also have Under Night In-Birth 2, Cecilis for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. And then on the 26th, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth for Xbox on X Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. And then Tekken 8 for Series X and PlayStation 5. I am still sad that Infinite Wealth is not going to be on Game Pass at launch. The RGG said that they're not going to put it on Game Pass at launch, which surprises me because I thought it would be. Because I think the new Gaiden they put out is on Game Pass. I have to look real quick. Yeah, Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is like a smaller like game focused on Kiryu that kind of leads into Infinite Wealth, is on Game Pass, but not Infinite Wealth itself. Yeah, that's it for releases. There's more. If you want to see them in our notes, you can check them out there. I guess anything else?
No.
All right, then. Tomorrow, I get to learn Super Mario Wonder speedrunning. Hooray!
At least part 1. Because I'm going to assume that a 3-hour run, we're not going to be able to get all the way through. As far as teaching and giving you a little bit of practice.
Yeah. Then next Thursday, we'll be doing Project Cross Zone, or I'll be doing Project Cross Zone, not me. Next Friday, you're not decided on that yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I didn't think so. And then next Saturday will be our return to Saber. We get to be introduced to the last proper swordsman of the series. I can't wait to meet him and wish to throw him in the dumpster. For how you didn't like Ren at the start, that is how I feel about this character. I really do not like this character.
Great.
Not because of him, no, but because of what he ends up doing writing-wise for another character. That's why I don't like him. He doesn't do anything wrong. But that is the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate chipping away the feel of going at Tejas Network on Mastodon.social and at Tejas Soon on Twitter. We'll give you information on when we go live. Next exclamation point Discord and chat is this link. Drop by, say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.